The implications of all this can be overwhelming at times. There are so many implications, and many of them are complex and interrelated. One overriding implication is that our vision of human society cannot simply be a partisan political one or an ideological one of any stripe. As Catholics, we are called to work for the world promised and exemplified by Jesus Christ. That world seeks its values in an authentic human nature and in the relationship among all people and with God. Our commitment to the common good as the goal of social and political activity has become so weakened that we must reestablish a balance by emphasizing the common good rather than solely individual benefit. The common good must be the focus of our political, economic, and social decisions. It must become the norm we use to evaluate public policy and public policy makers. While it might be difficult to achieve agreement on exactly what constitutes equality, it seems abundantly clear that greater equality is good for everyone, and that we should promote policies and policy makers who move in that direction. This means we must take pains to understand the complex social, political, and economic systems that produce the quality of life in a community. It is no longer enough to focus simply on the actions and values of individuals. As important as these are, we all are impacted by large-scale systems which seem to operate as almost autonomous beings. As Catholics, we are called to introduce into local conversations the values of the common good and the other tenets of Catholic social teaching. Instead of asking, what's in it for me and mine, we need to ask, what's in it for all of us, and especially for those ignored and forgotten by society at large. We are called as Catholics to ask those same questions of national policies and issues. If the 25% of Americans who are Catholic stood as one and asked how national policies impact those on the margins, those often forgotten by all of us, it would create a sea change in American politics. Lest we think that the problem is with politicians, policymakers, lobbyists, and wealthy donors, we also need to realize that most of us live in a stable economic system that benefits us, even though it may be to the detriment of those who are vulnerable. We must bring the same lens of the common good to our own personal and family decisions about expenditures and voting. Some of those implications may seem too general or vague, leaving us with the feeling that we should do something but without any definite action steps. Here are some more specific suggestions for you to consider. If your parish has a social ministry committee, consider joining it. If it does not exist, meet with your pastor or pastoral administrator to see about forming one. The Just Faith program is described in the handouts provided to you. It has a proven track record of helping people become more informed about Catholic social teaching and becoming directly involved in social ministry. There's always a need for volunteers in the various Catholic charities programs or other outreach ministries where we can get to know our neighbors in need. A list of opportunities is included in your handouts. The U.S. bishops have issued a document entitled Faithful Citizenship that calls us to consider how we can participate in the political and electoral process in a way that is consistent with our Catholic beliefs. You can read, pray, and reflect on the Scripture and its unrelenting call for us to serve the poor and vulnerable. Daily Scripture reading, perhaps using the lectionary, is an excellent way of engaging with the teachings of Jesus. Finally, You can join a group that is trying to understand and address the systemic issues identified in this presentation. Refer to the resource page for some ideas. In a few moments, we will have a final prayer as we conclude our time together. In preparation for that closing, you are asked to reflect on 3 questions now shown on the screen. What was the important new idea or concept for you as a result of our time together? Are there now new questions and issues for you? If so, name the most important. Finally, as a result of our time together, what might you do over the next few weeks to take concrete action in response to Catholic social teaching and our current circumstances? Write down your responses to these questions on the sheet provided. This is for your use only and will not be collected. If time permits, your facilitator may call you to discuss your responses in small groups of 2 or 3 before you proceed to your closing prayer. In any case, reflect on your responses over the next few days as you think and pray about the time you have spent here. Finally, let us close by listening to the words of St. Basil the Great, a doctor of the Church from the 4th century. The bread which you do not use is the bread of the hungry. The garment hanging in your wardrobe is the garment of him who is naked. The shoes that you do not wear are the shoes of the one who is barefoot. The money you keep locked away is the money of the poor. The acts of charity you do not perform are so many injustices that you commit.